Hey guys, let's talk Zenith, specifically the Zenith El Primero movement and their chronographs. This is going to be a little bit different of a video than the usual. I'm going to go a lot more into Zenith, the brand, and the El Primero movement, the history, in order to ultimately determine whether or not the Zenith El Primero watches are worth your money and, of course, your time. Let's do it. Let's start off by talking about Zenith, the brand. Who the heck are they? And why are they so loved by watch lovers and movement lovers alike? So Zenith first started back in 1865. It was a well-respected Swiss watchmaker, so rich in heritage just on that alone. However, things really changed for Zenith in 1969, when they created what they claimed to be the first mechanical automatic chronograph movement. Now, ironically, I have a manual version of that on this Zenith Prime here, the caliber 420, but Zenith's claim to fame is that they created the first automatic chronograph. Now, this is a bit of a disputed fact here. It can be argued that Seiko may have done this before Zenith. However, Zenith announced it before Seiko could. And then there was a Breitling, Hoyer, and Hamilton coalition, which also created and released an automatic chronograph before Zenith. However, that was a modular chronograph. So I would say Zenith's real claim is that they were the first to create a fully integrated design from the bottoms up to be an automatic chronograph. So they were able to achieve this in not only to be the first, but also what makes this movement so loved even 50 years now is that it has some really impressive modern specs, right? This movement is a high beat movement with 36,000 beats per hour, so that translates to about 10 beats per second. And so most typically, the watches, even in today's era, are on the order of 28,000, maybe even 21,000 beats per hour. And so Zenith, even 50 years now, is still considered to have created a high beat movement and the first in the first automatic chronograph movement. I would say probably Grand Seiko is the other more common brand watch that uses a 36,000 beats per hour movement. So pretty impressive on that alone. What makes this movement still relevant even today is that not only does it have such an impressive high beat frequency, but it also has the 50 hours power reserve, and it's just, a well-designed and reliable movement. You'll see, and even in the other El Primero movements, it's not always the most well decorated by default unless you're buying a very special limited edition, but still a very well competently made movement. Some downsides of the El Primero movement, and I'll list them out here. One being that they do not feature hacking seconds, so even if I pull the crown out, you'll see that the sub-second dial is still ticking away there. In addition, they also have a slight jump in their chronograph initiation. So you can see here, small second jump, right? But besides that, for its price point, we're talking sub $5,000 in the used and gray market, you're getting an amazing deal for a very rich in heritage watch and movement. So definitely worth the value on that alone. So Zenith today is owned by LVMH. They are the owners of the Tag Heuer as well as Hublot. And so again, backed by a pretty, you can argue what they've done with some of these brands like Hublot and Tag Heuer, but still a very reputable parent company even today. So what's so special about this Zenith Prime, and why did I decide to use this Zenith Prime as the sample to have this discussion? Well, ironically, the Zenith Prime, which was released back in 1990s and they are no longer created, was featuring a movement, the 420, where Zenith specifically removed the automatic function of the of the El Primero movement, which I find really ironic and kind of spits in the face of Zenith's heritage and claim to fame here. And that's kind of the reason why I even got this watch, is because it's kind of a funny parody on Zenith's heritage here. What I also love about this watch is that you can clearly see the mechanical movements, and so this is going to be kind of a mechanical movement exercise here, where you can see the engaging and disengaging of the chronograph wheel right there. So nothing left hidden by the unfortunate fact that there are automatic rotors. And then you can reset it, of course, just like so. All right. And then reset it again. So just a company with great heritage and a great movement. When I was looking for a sub $5,000 mechanical chronograph, you really only have two choices, in my opinion, and that is going to be either the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon or the Zenith El Primero. And so if you're looking for something that's less on mainstream and more of the watch lover's watch brand, then Zenith, specifically Zenith El Primero watches, something definitely to consider.